Hey everybody, I'm back with just a weekly update. I haven't really gotten a lot done as far as painting recently. It's interesting, I don't know really what it is. I'm not sure if it's been, it might be that I've just been doing more gaming lately. I've never really had a time in the last few years where gaming quite a bit has gotten in the way of painting, or my, I guess, free time to paint. And so I have been playing, games with friends, but then also been playing more gaming at the house with my family since the Zombicide. And so even one evening of playing Zombicide a week, and in some cases I've played two since the beginning of the year, like 2 days, like throughout an evening. That is a lot of painting time. Because usually it's like a chunk of free time to begin with, that I've gotten. And so, so I've been doing a lot more gaming lately, and that kind of affects my uploads for the channel, because I mostly put, I do have the occasional battle rip, but I mostly put paint progress updates on this channel. But I'll show you, I did get some progress done, and I'll show you what I did. The closest things to finished right now are the artillery crew, and then just a couple of odds and ends that I had for the two grenadier models. So I'll show the artillery that I've got finished. I really do like the French artillery uniform style, because even though I'm used to the redcoats being British, because there's quite a bit less yellow on the uniform, it makes it look distinctly different. Like, I still know that they're not quite British, and they look like, a different version of the French uniform. It's kind of cool. So I really enjoyed painting these. I have a little bit of washing over the skin that I still want to get done. I have a couple little things to do. I have to work on the base as well, but I'm actually pretty close with these guys getting them done. There weren't that many, it was just 4, but I was happy to get these guys finished. I am going to be looking forward to painting these guys again. I really quite liked it, because I'm going to definitely order more. I'd like to get at least another 4 of these. Between limbers and multiple cannon, like potentially having more than one cannon, I still think I need more than these 4 guys. And that would be for both sides, both for the British and the French. Because I only have 4. They come in packs of 4, and I just started with 4 of each. I did actually paint the NCO with a crimson sash, like the British officer sergeant sash. So that's going to make him stand out a little bit differently, that he's got that from the regulars. And I do have my grenadier as a musician as well. I haven't gotten as far with Deadpool. I have been doing some of the steps that I've been doing with highlighting up the reds for the other characters or the other miniatures. I still have to do his sort of webbing back, like gear and the swords, and I have a fair bit to do on Deadpool still. But he's sort of coming together slowly as I've been doing other stuff and having the same paints around. I've been just picking him up and doing it slowly. But I think what I haven't really done much at all is the limber. I think what I'll need to do is focus on, once I'm finished with these, which is very short, I'll be focusing on the limber and Deadpool and getting them finished. And then I have I've done a considerable amount of work on the church, but it still has a ways to go to finish it. Not too much, but I want to do some. I'm going to be washing the church gray, like with a light gray wash, and then just doing some highlights with the white. But I do have this glued on, like the actual steeple piece, and I have the bell painted and in there. It's kind of hard to see here, but the bell is in there and painted. This guy's still, I'm able to take it off. I've got it just painted white. I'm going to do the wood floor, so that's some work that I'll be doing on the inside. I think particularly for the church, nice wood floor in there will look really good. I still have to I'm going to paint the base just like ground color, like earth color, like I use for my bases, and I have to do the stone. But I have, you know, painted the doors and the shingles and things like that. I like this color scheme though. I'm going to wash the roof a little bit too and dull down some of the shingles that I've picked out. I actually did a 3-tone on this. It's kind of hard to see, but if you look closely you can see, well, maybe it isn't that hard. You can see this is the dark color, then here I did some medium tones and quite a lot of them, and then I did some really bright ones just to show different fading of shingles. But I'm going to actually wash it with a very mild gray wash just to dull down those really light ones just a little bit. But this is kind of coming along nice. I think this is going to be a really nice addition to my table. I quite like having a church like this, and I think the size is really good. I think when you look at models in here, like this is enough to hold a good size unit. I didn't really want it to be a huge church where you'd have like multiple units in there fighting it out necessarily. I had a game of Musket and Tomahawks this week. I guess I didn't mention that because I mentioned that I've been playing quite a bit of games. I had a bit of a demo that I demoed for a friend that has invested in the models. It just really hasn't played yet, and it was a good game. I ended up losing. I played a scenario that I'd not played in combination where I was scouting and they were protecting civilians, and it was interesting because the side plot in the game actually determined the victory. Like I scouted all the areas I needed to, and I ended up killing his civilians, so I prevented him from actually getting his primary objective, but he also killed enough of my guys and made it difficult for me by game end to not get back to my starting zone to count all the scouting I did. And so the only thing, he had to decipher some documents, his officer had to decipher some documents, and that was his secondary objective, where my officer was an eagle eye and I had to kill 5 guys with my officer, and I never did specifically do that. And so he got his secondary objective, and that gave him a minor victory for the game. And so it was kind of good. Like, I think he had fun. I had fun. And it was just good to have him get a feel for the game, be able to use his models for Musket and Tomahawks. And so, but what I was going to say is my barn, which isn't that much different in size than this. It might be a slightly bigger, looking at it over here. I think it's slightly bigger. It was enough to have his civilians hold up in there, and my guys came in and fought his civilians at the door. And you could, you know, encroach and get in, but like I don't need like a huge building in this case for these. They do sell what they call a Dundas church for Sarissa Precision, which looks like a very large model, and it looks very North American style, Dutch, I believe, church. And I thought about getting that one in the past. I think it would be much bigger than this, but I think now that I've got a church, I likely will just invest in other things. So yeah, more work to refine the look of this, but I am happy with the way it's coming out so far. I think it looks good. But yeah, and not a whole lot else going on. Just trying to... I wouldn't say that I've been not wanting to paint. I think it's been more that, like I said, because I've been gaming a lot and doing other things with my free time, between that and other things, like with my kids and work and stuff, I just haven't had the time, or even with the little bit that I've had, the desire to come down and do it. And so I have done some, as you can see, but it's been kind of light compared to usual when I'm on a project. But I've really been enjoying this, and in the last couple days I've actually focused on this a little bit more, and so I've actually enjoyed it, so I'm hoping to be a bit more productive next week. So here's to being more productive next week, and I hope you guys had a good week, and I will talk to you later.